Hey guys, so I'm going to talk to you about something that it's triggering for some, so I am going to go ahead and put a trigger warning on it that we are going to be talking about rape. Now, I'm going to be telling you my story and what I went through that night, and just kind of provide some encouraging words for you if you're going through it or you have been through it. So April of 2017, I had escaped a domestic violence situation and I was ultimately homeless. I was staying from friend to friend, place to place, and there was a friend who had messaged me and said that I could come over and chill and that, I could ultimately stay the night because I had nowhere to go. And I hadn't seen them in a while, so I was all for it, this was a friend, right? So I get over there, and it's me, him, and he has this guy friend with him, and they were smoking weed. Now, disclaimer, I don't promote drugs, but at the time, I had tried marijuana for the first time, and it was not what everybody else describes it to be. It's kind of fuzzy that night, but I had ended up smoking a blunt and I was fine. My head felt a little tight, but I was just like, my first time smoking. So then he brings back something else. It was weed from the kitchen, but I never seen where he got it from. I didn't pay attention. And he puts it in the bong or whatever, and his friend lights it for me. And as soon as I'm coughing and I'm choking and, I'm not feeling great, I'm throwing up. And, he's like, well, here, let me go get you something to drink. And he brought me some water and I was drinking it. And then all of a sudden he was like, let's take you outside and get you some air. So he took me outside to get some air. And then all of a sudden, everything got fuzzy. It got dizzy. I was freaking out. I couldn't see straight. I felt like I was honestly going into seizures because I had a history of epilepsy. But I really was panicking and freaking out. And I was trying to call 911, but I couldn't see straight. I was really out of it. He took my phone from me. And then I ended up my eyes rolling back and I ended up shaking and freaking out and I really feel like I was going into seizures, but they, were laughing. Oh, she's fine. She's just having a bad panic attack, and his friend is freaking out dude, what's wrong with her? Something's not right. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. We're going to take you home. So he has to carry me to the car because I'm so out of it, I can't even walk. And his friend knows something is wrong. He could tell something is not right. And he puts me in the passenger seat of the car. I was too jacked up to even sit up straight. My legs were shaking. I couldn't move. I couldn't pull my legs apart. My heart was racing so bad. And his friend was sitting in the back seat and he's like, dude, is she okay? Maybe we should take her to the hospital. He's like, shut up, dude. Nothing's wrong with her. Shut up. We're going to take you home. She's going to be fine. So we're riding around. And I could not see anything. It was like I was conscious and I could hear, but I could not see anything at all. Nothing. It was like I was blacked out, but I could still hear and feel. And I would try to move, but my whole body was shaking really bad. And I remember we got to a stoplight and he told me, he said, there's a cop behind us. Don't make any sudden movements. Don't freak out. I tried to grab the door to open it so I could just fall out. So my body could just roll out in the middle of the highway. I'm paralyzed. I can't move. I can't see. And my fingers, I slowly moved my fingers. And I was shaking really bad to try to do it. And it took everything in me. And he locks the door. And I was begging him, I was mumbling words and I was begging him, just drop me off at the emergency room and, just throw my body there. I won't tell anybody, just throw my body there. And we rode around for a while and I slowly started coming to, but I still was really, really weak. And he had dropped his friend off, and it was just me and him. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I never reported it. So, we went back to his place, and I was so out of it. Like, even if I would have called for help, I didn't know where I was. And he still had my phone, and he laid me on the couch, and he ended up raping me that night. And I just laid there. And I had to take it. Like, I couldn't move. I couldn't fight. I didn't know, like, where I was. And I just had to take it. I just had to lay there until he got done. And the next day, you know, I laid there and I went to sleep. And the next day, like, he gave me my phone back, and he just acted like nothing had happened. Like, nothing, like he didn't just do that to me. And he ended up taking me, and he dropped me off at the library. And I called a friend to come get me and to take me to get my car. And they took me, and I just remember, like, feeling so out of it that day, and just feeling like I wanted to go to the hospital, but I was scared, because I had just got out of a domestic situation, and I was fighting a case, and I was scared that somebody would, like, the attorney for him would try to say, well, Your Honor, she used marijuana, so, you know, who's to say she wasn't on drugs when she accused my client of doing this to her? And, you know, it was 2 weeks after I had gotten free that I was raped. And I was really, like, mad and scared, and I didn't report it. And I had ended up catching a treatable STD from it. But I was just really infuriated. And I had found out a couple weeks later that I was actually far along in my pregnancy. I was like 8 weeks pregnant that I didn't even know. And so the time that I was raped and the time that I was drugged, I was pregnant with my first son. And it was really a hard situation, like, going through that and really knowing this. And I had reached out to him, you know, and I had asked him, like, why did you do that to me? Like, why? Why did you take advantage of me? Why did you invite me over if you were going to do that to me? And he was just kind of like, oh, well, nothing was wrong with you. What? I'm your friend. If you know, you really needed help, I would have gotten you help. And I'm like, I begged you to throw me out of the emergency room, and you wouldn't do it. Your friend knew something was wrong, and you took him home so he couldn't be another witness to it. And I never told anybody, and I live in the same town as my rapist. And I see people, you know, I actually just seen a photo shoot with him in it the other day, and it just makes me so sick to my stomach. Because he might not remember me, and he might not remember what he did to me, but I do. I will never forget what happened to me. I will never not be angry. So what I tell people who have been going through this or who have been through this, it takes a very disgusting